Namaste. Today, we are practicing with a chair and a wall, a combination of great yoga props. Note that I am sitting with a little bit of a lift. The chair is behind me, set against the wall. I have two blocks and a strap handy for some of our options. As you prepare a comfortable support, if you'll plant your feet and allow the back body to use the surfaces behind you. Bring the hands together in a prayer position, place them against the legs, and notice all of the relationships. Here we have a closed chain of the body. The hands are together, the feet are against a surface. It provides a quieting effect for the nervous system. And the support allows us an especially long spine. So with this support, bring your focus to your internal attention of awareness, to your inner landscape. Sending the focus now to the breath. Allowing the mind to come present and the body to quiet. Finding support of the chair and the wall today and poses that are familiar and preparations that may be a little nuanced. Let us continue to find ways to grow through our practice. Let us begin. When you are ready, with your feet still planted, send the arms high, turn the palms back, lift your gaze, notice the opening of the front body and the lift of the rib cage. You take the time, place your hands at the prop if you have a blanket, or at the floor if you don't. Allow your body to tell your feet where to be, and we're going to bear into our legs, lift the pelvis, rest the shoulder blades and the head on the chair, and continue to adjust. So this is a very supported back bend. I can take the arms straight up toward the ceiling and just continue to have lengthening afforded to the body. Explore bending in your elbows and placing your hands either at the wall behind you or catching the sides of the chair and pressing back. But as you find yourself with this leverage pattern, notice how your legs respond. Your feet are more grounded. Can you keep from turning out in your ankles? Bear the weight to the inner edges of the feet ever so slightly. This beautiful back bend preparation allows us to be a little bit more courageous in our mind, knowing that we'll embrace many back bends in this practice. Take the time and slowly lower yourself down. Send the arms ahead of you, let your head come in, and we'll add a twist. So as you make your feet a little bit wider, take the arms ahead, come into this little bit of a hinge, place one hand on the inside, bear into that inner leg, and take the other arm and find how you can either use the wall or rest the elbow in the chair and find some aspect of the chair to catch hold of and turn. Turn your head, breathe. You may have a slight hip hinge, you may be truly upright. It will depend on what that back arm is doing. Very nice. And before we give this away, we're going to take that leg that we're holding onto, we're going to straighten it out, send it really wide, bring the other one rather close, catch hold of its ankle, and continue to extend and continue to turn. The long leg has toes back towards you. The anchored foot is using its anchoring well. And we've gravitated from one twist to another, finding that these are strengthening twists. Inhale and come back. Same idea, please. Feet are planted. This hip hinge. Lowering the arms and getting to that place where you can really use the arm against the leg. However you wish, your arm may be longer relative to your torso, you may be at the floor, any of that. And as you take the other arm behind and turn, whether you find and use the wall back behind, or you use some aspect of the chair, both arms lend themselves to the twist, helping the rib cage turn, keeping the space through the torso. Turn and look back. Breathe. And then that leg that you're holding onto, we'll straighten it out. We'll send it well out to the side. Bring the other one close, catch hold the ankle, make sure the knees stay wide away from each other, and sitting tall, turn any amount. Failing to return. We're going to repeat where we started. So if you will, plant your feet. And knowing that we're coming back to this back bend, think about where your feet typically are for your back bend. I'm going to give myself a head start. I'm going to push to the blanket. And then come on up, let my feet walk to that position. And rest my head. Notice the support of your shoulder blades. So because your shoulder blades are resting and the spine is supported, the head is supported, we are not imposing on the spine in any way. Take the arms high. And you can simply keep it here and just reach. Notice the more you reach with the arms, the more the legs are really on. If what you did before was to bend your elbows and press back, whether into the wall or into the sides of the chair, notice where your elbows are this time. The arms are parallel to each other. And you can begin to do a little bit of play in your feet. You can lift the heels and pull with the toes. You can rest the heels, lift the toes and spread them wide and push. The idea is to let the legs have a little bit of varied action, recognizing it's going to affect the glutes, the hamstrings, the lower back in ways that will support resilience in a back bend. Very nice. Once you've completed a few rounds of alternating heel to toes, make your way back. I'm going to lower my arms first. Come toward the floor and settle in. Excellent. We're coming into another twist, and I'm going to turn toward the chair, making it so that my inside leg is the bent knee and the outside leg is long. It doesn't really matter, but I like to sit so that the blanket is right underneath my sitting bones and not underneath my legs. And we're turning toward the chair, holding the knee, turning any amount more, but then reaching past the knee to catch some aspect of the chair. And what that means is that we can keep turning the upper rib cage, in which case the backhand can keep coming around. What's rather useful, depending on the design of your chair, is that if the knee rests right against the chair, there's no turning out or winging out of that knee, and you can continue to find some aspect of the chair to use for continued strengthening twist. So here we are not necessarily needing the wall. We could use any chair without the support of the wall back behind, but I'm just saving us time. This beautiful Marichyasana twist. Explore letting that front arm come anywhere, using any aspect of the chair. Give yourself some variety, the back shoulder participating, and enjoy where you are. Inhale and come on back. So in this side, I'm going to instead use that cabinet beside me. I'm going to slide over. I'm going to let my knee rest against this cabinet and lift and turn, and I'm just going to use it. It works. And so I'm just playing with where can that hand go. There's a tugging action. It's substituting for my chair. I'm saving us time. And so that outer leg doesn't get to wing out. My legs are hip width apart. The back hand still does its job. And I can let that back shoulder and the back hand respond to the amount of twist. I can slide the arm across. So the arms are very important to what happens in a twist, how they guide the rib cage to a little bit more rotation and engaging a little bit more muscle power, hence a little bit more action. And when we inhale, this pulls in the core, more of the abdominal wall, lower back. Inhale and come on back. Very nice, everyone. We are continuing with back bending action. So I'm going to take my blanket and fold it that it will just simply rest underneath my knees. As it is here, I'm going to come and rest my shins. And how my legs are resting on the blanket then is with the blanket coming to the very edge of the ankle. Right, so it's really kind on the ankle, kind on the knee, the arms travel back. Then we get to lift and take on this Ustrasana camel pose. The shins press it down and down. Front body lengthens. The arms have a little bit more work to do. And we can begin to explore what the chair affords us. And slide the arms back and drop back and then adjust, sending the hip bones more forward. Explore how much I'm going to lift my head. We can change by using the arms in the seat of the chair, sliding the hands down the legs of the chair. Any of that will work. And in all of that, the chair is not going anywhere because it's set against the wall. But this is doable. Remember, the wall is optional and the chair is optional. We can do this pose using blocks or just the floor. One arm is going to stay, the other arm is going to lift. We get to turn and then use the back hand with the chair in a myriad of ways. So I want to grab some aspect of the leg or the back, and this helps me control over my hips aren't turning, they are staying, the upper body is turning, the top arm helps with the traction, the shins continue to press it down and back. Again, a strengthening twist now in a back bend. Beautiful. Take the time, come into this puppy pose. Put your hands down, plant your toes. Shift your sitting bones up and back, look slightly ahead so that you have a little bit of a recovery. No overdoing. And then inhale and come on up. And let's find that same place again. I'm using the chair. navigating with the foundation, noticing what the legs are doing, exploring what the upper body can do, and then adding a rotation. I'm going to reach and turn, using the back hand to keep the lower body set, turning the head, and exploring any amount of variation. Reaching up to reach down and back, reaching forward and up. So we keep coming back to the ideal that the chair and prop just gives our practice a different feel, different leverage patterns. Nice. And so now I'm going to show this next place from this angle, and then I will adjust my chair. Your chair is with the wall back behind. So I want to keep the shin at the floor and come and park the foot here. So my foot is with the seat of the chair. And I'm gonna bear down. So just notice what that feels like. Yep. If you wish to have blocks underneath you, all well and good, but we are charging the front body by bearing down. And then switching to take the other leg. So I have one shin that presses down and back. I have bent the knee and placed the toes, the top of the foot in the seat of the chair, and I get to bear down. And that has a very different feel. The front body is in charge, the back body is bracing. You can feel a lot of engagement, and it is nonetheless an opportunity for upper body strengthening. Now, we're going to use this in two different ways. We're going to use this to come into a downward dog or a handstand preparation. So while the chair is behind you, if you will plant the toes of the bottom leg and come and notice how you can plant the toes of the top foot, put both feet there, shift your body weight back, enjoy this handstand preparation. And notice how your entire body shifted around the wrists, they stayed still. This doesn't have to be any more than you wish it to be. You can send your head back, you can reach the sitting bones up, but when you are ready to come down, just recognize sliding your feet in, stepping one leg down, then the other, and walking back to sit. So as you sit, you'll have a chance to just let your head come back to you. But now, we want to put the chair in front of us. And I will continue to offer the blanket or how you adjust your mat to the corner of the wall. And I'm going to use the cabinet again. So if the cabinet were my wall, I want to put my blanket or the edge of the mat in such a way that I have the corner well supported, just like this. And the chair is in front. So the chair is going to give us some great control. As I'm giving time for everybody to get there. So as I come and park one knee well back, right in that corner, yeah, I can put my hands at the seat of the chair, and I can swing the other leg forward. Wow. If by chance this doesn't work for you, then I'm going to encourage you to come into a long lunge and give yourself this hip opening. But regardless now, you can play with the chair. You can slide the chair closer to you and come into a more upright position. We understand now that this is a back bend. This falls into the category of back bending. The limiting factor is hip flexor mobility. You can tell great quadricep stretches going on. And as you come more upright in this position, your knee is really right in that corner. You are not on the kneecap. You are at the very lower end of the thigh. And the chair gives you a chance to keep inviting the ribs back. And this is a tall order. So if you're not able to come more upright, it is just fine to stay low. It is fine to substitute a lunge. But if your body gives you permission to continue coming up, you may be in a position that you can bring your back right up against the wall and take the arms high and really find more opening of deep hip flexors as well as the quadriceps. This is a lot, right? Wonderful. Take the time, make way for doing the other side. And as you do, gently come out of it. So I'm planting that other foot. I'm starting from this all fours position. Sending the other knee right into that corner. And swinging the other leg forward. Sometimes this by itself is an incredible challenge. We are all different. Every day is different. Here we go. The chair comes in handy, and we understand ourselves how one side is a little bit more willing. The chair gives us a wonderful option. Typically, we will play with blocks under our hands and work our way to more upright position. But the chair just gives us more angles to keep having support while we explore this coming more upright. And if you're able to be more upright, lifting the arms tugs away at the front of the thigh at those legs. And it is quite surprising. Today, my body is not making it into a more upright position. And nonetheless, this practice serves us all. Great. Time and come on down. Use the chair. Come place both legs, shins at the floor. And keeping your toes right in the corner of the wall. Moving the chair out of your way for just now. Sink back into that puppy pose. Let your hands really push. Recognize that you are using the wall with your toes right in the corner. And if you can, comfortably lift the knees. Excellent. So that is continued work, and it is nonetheless recovery. I hope you feel how those quadricep muscles are on now. Very good. Come into your downward facing dog. It's a short dog pose now. We're going to go between those two places 2 more times. And you can decide that you are going to come all the way and rest your knees, or that you are going to keep the knees hovering from the floor. Keep the shoulders broad and lean. Here we go again. Exhale. This short dog pose. Really stretching feet. The top of the feet, we just had that before with our feet at the wall. And then come on in. And look at the head. Continue to open across the chest. Beautiful. Taking the time now to send one leg forward. And whether or not you use the wall behind you, take the arms high, and come into this warrior one. Exactly. We'll step the back leg to the front leg to make our adjustments, using that leg power. Now, I want to stand with the chair away from me, turned away from me, and I want the wall beside me. So I'm going to move the blanket out of the way. Again, the wall is optional, so I'll show from this angle first. We can use the chair turned toward us, and we have before to say, oh, but if what we wanted to practice was preparation for tree pose, and we left the leg in the chair this way, it would work beautifully. Today, if the design of your chair allows you, I am asking you to turn it so that the back of the chair is to you, and that means the leg has to come up and over. And what I'd like for you to consider is that the shin, that the calf rests against the back of the chair, The foot bears down and it pulls in. Yes. And the wall is beside you if you need it. So for me, I have this cabinet right here. The arms can travel high, give yourself a focal point, bring your hands to the heart if that is your preference. But I want you to really notice what the leg in the chair is doing. So far we've had twists and folds and back bending kind of movement. And this is a hip opening literally. There are two actions for this leg. There is bearing down and there's pulling in. So the chair can tip very easily, but foot pressing down is more important than to keeping it from tipping, but the legs drawing toward each other is essential to tree pose. Keep a balance of that and notice how the standing leg really does its job more, how there is this opportunity to balance. My legs are drawing in, but I'm inviting the hip points away from each other and how that affects the sacral spine, how you can lengthen the tailbone down. There's a lot that goes on here. Keep lifting the ribs. This is a wonderful way to build time in a one-legged pose. We still have the support of the other leg. We've engaged a lot of muscle in the lower body. And if you're standing next to the wall and the outside hand is against the wall, I want you to keep walking the hand up the wall because it will help you continue to elongate. There's this effect of using the wall not just to help with balance, but to give you more length. And then you can use it for strengthening. You can push into the wall and keep lifting with the other side. It works. Beautiful. And take the time and step down. So now we know what to do for the other side. I'm going to just simply turn around. And the leg makes it so that you have the foot pressing down into the seat of the chair and the legs pulling toward each other, and the arms can travel high, and we can keep walking that wall hand up the wall, pushing into the wall, perhaps letting go, and whatever it takes to equate the work to the other side. As you settle into this set of actions, continue to come back to the idea that, oh, but my legs are working toward each other. The turned out leg is bearing down, that's more of its action. And I'm inviting my hip points away from each other. It's a very subtle action. It helps me lengthen the tailbone down. Keep reaching up. One more breath. Good work, everybody. Take the time, step down. So now, it doesn't matter to turn the chair away from you or keep it here. We're going to use letting the hands rest. But I'm going to move the chair aside just to show you what I'm asking us to do. And I'm asking you to walk your feet away from the wall so that your feet have maybe a couple of feet, 18 inches to about 2 feet away from you. Okay? And we're going to use this to hip hinge and to use the chair in front. So I have my arms at the back of the chair, the neck is neutral, and there are two things going on for the upper body. Number one, I'm bearing slightly down. Number two, I'm sliding the arms ahead to elongate the torso while I have this light bearing down. So the chair allows you this opportunity to get a little bit longer in your body with those set of actions. Draw the kneecaps up, reach the sitting bones back, Try not to hang your head. You can look into the seat of the chair. And then we have options. Number one, lift your toes and spread them wide. Number two, if you don't have the wall behind you, you can do this. Your legs will be perpendicular to the floor and it will be just fine. Next, lift the one arm and reach it forward. So one arm bears down while it reaches forward, one arm just reaches forward with a lift. The arm that's reaching forward with a lift, move it down now, and for the seat of the chair, if your fingertips can push there, please do that. So one hand bears down and pushes, that's the lower hand. One hand bears down and reaches, that's the top arm. Notice how your body responds to that, what holds you, what is lengthening. Take the time and switch. The other arm comes to the top of the chair, the other hand goes to the seat of the chair to push. We're going to work in the reverse. There's this element of reach regardless. The result is the reaching back with the sitting bones, and then the bottom arm comes up and it floats and it continues to reach. Notice the tendency to want to lean. When you're ready for change, with both arms, keep reaching and keeping both arms in front of you. Come upright with shoulder retraction, shoulder blades down and back. Excellent. Press the hands into the wall, push yourself away. And while you're here and the arms are able to find the wall and push away, take one leg and park the toes on the floor and the heel on the wall behind you. So I'm going to move my chair away so that you can see where I am. And the hands are using the wall back behind and we're pressing back. So my legs are fairly straight. And I am looking like this. The legs are straight and we're pushing back. Exactly. You're going to lose the wall for just a little bit. You bend in your knee and just explore, oh, I know that I can potentially lunge a little bit further. We're going to get to that. But straighten the leg one more time and open. Slide your hands down and in them out, in them out, in them out. Done a lot of back bending. As the chair is in front of you still, as your legs are straight and you're exploring this back bend, coming away from the wall, come and hip hinge, keep the back heel where it is. And come and find using the chair, you can decide that, oh, I really like this place. And my focus is just going to be lengthening the torso. The legs are on, they're both straight. But I'm going to encourage you to keep moving that chair away and to work your way to arms along and coming down. So I want to show you where I am so that you can play with where you are as well. So I have my toes on the floor, heel at the wall, and I don't have a very wide stance. You know, I walk down. What you really need is to turn the chair the other way, all well and good. But from this position, please, move that front foot well forward. Give yourself this great stretch for the back of the leg and keep working down. Your responsibility is to not round in the back. So I'm working on it too. Keep lengthening the heart forward, but notice how your arms are able to have a variety of angles for your fold, more than what the blocks might provide. We're going to add one more variation here. I think everyone's going to like where we're going. If your right leg is the front leg, take the right arm up. Put it at the back or the top of the chair. And if the left leg is the front leg, the left arm goes up. And all of a sudden, we have this great leverage. I can push with both hands. I can turn, I can stay long. Good. Use the back heel well into the wall. I know typically we have that heel lower in our revolved triangle. We're exploring ways to create more of this outer hip stretch with control. And so with that, I want you to back off by bending in the front knee. And here comes the variation. Can your front foot keep moving forward? Yep, yep. And then can you go back to straightening that leg? Wow, that's a nice surprise. Good work, everyone. Let's stay one more breath. And then inhale and come on up. Keep the chair where it is, bend in the front knee, keep pushing, keep pushing. And if you will, lift the back knee, keep opening up from the back of the knee. So all of a sudden we have this hip opening to the front that lends itself to how we use the back heel, how we use the arms, and we have more of a strengthening, the toning of the psoas. I can bend my knee a little deeper, perhaps. I can push into the chair. I can use the back leg well into the wall, but we think the back knee is straight and we still have room to add more action. I really want to open up from the back of the knee. Right? We have great work to do now on the other side. Slide the back leg to the front leg. That was huge. And we are to the other side. So where did we start? We started with one heel at the wall, the other leg forward. The arms were here behind us. And we have this inclination towards a back bend. Both legs are straight. And I did the other, I need to do the other leg. Okay, here we are. The body will tell you. So the first place we went with this, not so wide of a pose, so that we could stay with the wall, use our hands pushing there, was to explore coming lower. Oh, this is a back bend. I can walk my hands down and keep lifting the sternum, keep reaching that heel into the wall. And just for a little bit, bend in the front knee or use the wall, look ahead, give your body a break, reaching the arms back. Very nice. Straighten the front leg. Remember, this is a short stance. Come back into the wall. Use that again. As you are ready to then fold forward, the chair comes in handy. And we'll start with this fold, right? Go. And as we fold, we can slide down. And as we slide down, we're going to keep walking that front foot forward. So this is Padottanasana. I gave the option of parking it here, resting your head. You can turn and do your triangle, revolve triangle from that position as well. It's really nice. Yep. And as we continue to come on down, we'll find that perhaps the chair needs to keep sliding further away. And in Padottanasana, where eventually we rest our head on our shin or near the knee, we are moving along the way to extend the front body. So we're trying to minimize flexion of the spine. The chair gives us each this unique stopping place, meaning that we'll pause and we'll get our bearings and continue with great action, and things begin to quiet and we can continue forward any amount. Then we tie this to our revolved triangle. So if you will, if your right leg is forward, the right arm is going higher, and you will begin to find how your chair becomes useful to this rotation. Wow, this side is a little bit different. That spine lengthens, the strengthening twist, how we use the chair, how the back heel is grounding. And we've given ourselves an incredible variation. We don't have the back heel down necessarily today, but we still have this great outer hip stretch. When you're ready for change, bend in the front knee. This is revolved sine diagonal pose. And as you continue to rotate, notice moving your front foot more forward, bending in the front knee, elongating the spine and turning any amount more. Pull the legs toward each other and then straighten the front leg and continue with the revolved triangle. It informs us, oh, we could do that, especially since the back heel is up. The work is into the inner heels, the inner thighs are on, long spine. As you inhale, make your way up. As you exhale, bend in the front knee. Notice this really nice long lunge. The hands are pushing, the back heel anchors, and we have this awareness of, wow, this front of the hip kind of takes this up. Keep your bearing into that back leg, inner heel, sitting down, and then noticing about yourself, oh, but can I really keep asking for it? I'm opening up from the back of the knee and the hands pushing forward and the back heel behind. They help us to access that. Bring the ribs back, always the things that you know. Beautiful. And sliding the back leg to the front leg. All right, so now the chair is behind us. And as the chair is behind, and if the chair just seems like it's going to be just really hard against the soft tissue of your body, place the blanket in the seat of the chair. Everybody's going to get to their own place on this. And I am standing beside the wall, and if you don't have the wall, you might want to have another piece of furniture, another chair beside you. So I'm going to hold on to the wall. I'm going to step slightly ahead of the chair, and I'm going to place the foot in the seat of the chair. Very nice. And I'm going to bear it down. The idea is to bear it down. So as you find that distance that is yours, this is hip opening. As you find that chair behind you, yep, keeping the pelvis square, reaching into the inner heel of the standing leg, keeping that knee underneath you or just slightly behind you, you want to go there. Take the arms high. So when we first started, we had a supported back bend. We had both legs in the position that this leg is in now. We had our shoulder blades and our head supported. And the chance to really use the arms. And it was starting to tease this sense of opening through the front of the hip. And this is just another angle against gravity to do that. If you will, walk the hands back without hyperextending. Yep, the wall hand helps you get there. The leg in the chair bears down. The reaches into the inner knee of the bent knee and the inner heel of the straight leg. Notice how your head goes along. Nice. And release. So if you'll simply turn around, put the chair behind you. And the reason for it is so the other side gets to use the wall relative to which is the bent knee truly. And I'm sorry I didn't give you the cue of, like which arm is up and which leg is back. It would work either way, but the idea is to keep however you're using as the leverage patterns of the body, same to the other side. So I have chosen to use the standing leg with the wall arm, but it would be fine either way. What you'll want to decide for yourself is if the knee is directly underneath you or if it's slightly back, and that there's no hyperextension, right? The back foot presses down. What is different here? And the pelvis be square. How does the hip opening take it on from the side? Can we keep walking the wall hand up, or the arm that's being supported, can it keep helping to lift the rib cage, walk the hands back without hyperextension, lengthen the tailbone down. We're reaching down into the inner knee of the bent leg and the inner heel of the long leg. What goes on here? And release. We need a twist now. And I'm going to have us use the wall in a specific way. You can have the chair to the outside. And just to show where I am going to pretend that this cabinet is my wall. And the chair might help you get there. The blanket might be rolled up underneath your heels. So make that decision for yourself. We can start there all together. So I have my heels on this blanket roll. I am sort of in a high heel position, and I'm going to come on down. The distance from the wall has to do with the length of my forearm. I'm placing the elbow at the knee, placing my hand at the wall. And if you really are at a wall, what I'm going to encourage you to do is take the other hand and push into the wall. So for now, I'm right here, and the alignment keeps me from swinging out to the side, so I can keep adjusting, knowing that I'm asking my upper body to turn relative to what's happening in the legs, and that if the wall were here and my head stayed centered with my body, that's what I'm aiming for, then I want to push. But as you explore your place here, notice if you are comfortable coming off your rolled up blanket and continuing to drop your hips, or if you like staying with the blanket as you continue to drop the hips any amount into this pose with rotation. So I'm using the cabinet and taking on this long spine, all of these variations, places to play. You return sideways to the wall. Nice. Inhale, come on back. Take the arms high. Come all the way to standing, opening any amount. And let's do all of that on the other side. I'm going to join you on this wall. And remember, the chair can be beside you if you like it for steadiness. The rolled up blanket is going to give you this wonderful access to this preparation for noose and stepping onto the roll. Yep. And we can get there similarly. We can slide down, begin to turn, park the other elbow. We are at our arm's length from the wall, and we can start in this slightly higher position. I'm trying not to swing the pelvis out. I am trying to stay parallel and turning on the axis of the spine. So your body will begin to tell you where you want to place your hands. Then I'm going to have you explore coming a little bit lower. Right? And then perhaps going back to the roll is what we did to say, oh, but when the heels have the support and we come lower, all of these ways into using Malasana and then noose. Beautiful. Come on up. we can all tell that we've really charged our legs. All right. So from here, we are going to an inversion yet again. We have just enough time. My chair is going against the wall. So the chair is not going to tip, it's not going anywhere. As you come and sit, your blocks may be handy if that is the version that you want for your inversion, meaning that you want to charge the arms, you don't want to go all the way upside down, you want to stay here and play with preparations to extend the legs. All right, all together we'll come back there, take a break, come open, but going back to our really wonderful handstand preparation, we're going to repeat it. And that means that you'll find placing your hands somewhere ahead of your feet. And as you get to that inversion, this upside down position where one leg will stay in the chair and you'll have it in an L shape while the other leg is tall. If you'll sit up, I just want you to put your mind on what happens in the rib cage. When we were standing, we said something to the effect in our Warrior One that we wanted to draw the lower ribs in so that we're not hyperextending. And so if we were bearing weight and one leg was in the chair and the other leg is tall toward the ceiling, I don't want the leg that's tall toward the ceiling to be coming toward the middle of the room. We want it to go straight up toward the ceiling, in which case we have to really draw in to keep from that banana back shape. So as you get to your handstand preparation, think in those terms. Here we go. So the hands come to the floor. We park our feet with the legs of the chair and the seat of the chair. I like to slide my feet to the center, bring one heel to the wall, toward the center. The idea is not to tip the chair. So I'm trying not to have that banana back. I want to open up from the back of the knees, really reach into the inner heels. And the way down is to simply step down. So if you need to step down and then lift your head, please do. But if you are able to go right away to the other side, do. And if you need a little bit of a break, you can always bring that top leg to the wall and use it, push your toes there. Notice that we did not have any jarring kinds of movements. Push away the floor. Then when it's even, come on down. Great. So we made sure to really wake up the legs, to use the core in poses that fall into the back bending category, but are not extreme back bends by any means. Altogether, we're back to using deep core and then we'll have a rest. So it goes like this. So I am going to use the cabinet as if it were my wall. I'm going to set my blocks so that we can, again, play with this leg. But while my hands push, I want to take one leg and give myself this chance to put the leg with the wall and push with the arms and draw the belly in. And wow, that's more, especially if you have it in you to take both legs there and push. So eventually this becomes an arm balance where we bend in our elbows a little bit, we let the legs rest, and we really reach the legs away, which means, oh, but the abdominal wall has to draw back. Yeah, that's a lot. Let's take one more breath. And as you are ready, slide back. Inhale, open. Woo. And we are ready for recovery. So you can simply use the wall. You don't necessarily need the chair. The chair gives you a nice option if you want to set the chair against the wall. So I'm going to use this position so that my chair does not slide. There we go. And you can reserve the blanket for underneath your head. Come scoot in. Remember, your feet can be on the wall or at the seat of the chair. And you want to make sure there is no overdoing. So we are going to lift the pelvis, come into this figure 4, come on down. The benefit of the chair is that the foot can be controlling how you make this adjustment. But really, if you don't have the chair, the wall would be fine. If you don't have the wall, the chair would be fine. And then take the time and do the other side. When you are ready, place the legs in the seat of the chair and rest. Let your arms go to wherever you wish. Feel the support on your frame. Feel the support in general. The props that are holding you, the earth below you. The space between us. God's grace. And the support of your higher power. You are welcome to stay here as long as you wish. When you're ready, bring your knees to your chest and feel this lower back stretch deepening. It's nice to stay here for a while too. Follow your intuition. As you roll to one side and press up and sit, return to that support. Notice what is different. Perhaps you are more open. Perhaps you are more relaxed. Hopefully you feel longer. And the sense of being more open will stay with you in body and mind. Thank you for your presence. Namaste.